The faint glow of the screen illuminates the faces of those brave enough to watch. Shadows dance and flicker, reflecting the monstrous shapes that lurk within the story. This is the world of animated horror, a realm where fear takes on a life of its own, a place where imagination runs wild, and the line between reality and nightmare blurs. Animated horror is not for the faint of heart. It digs deep into our primal fears, exploiting the vulnerabilities we thought were safely locked away. It's a genre that thrives on the unexpected, twisting familiar imagery into something grotesque and unsettling. But what is it about animated horror that makes it so uniquely terrifying? Is it the exaggerated features of the creatures that haunt our screens? Or perhaps the way these stories tap into the darkness that resides within us all? Whatever the reason, one thing is certain. Animated horror has a power to chill us to the bone that few other genres can match. Prepare yourself, we are about to descend into the abyss, exploring the chilling world of animated horror. Animation, in its purest form, is the art of bringing the inanimate to life. But in the hands of a skilled horror artist, it becomes a tool for crafting nightmares. Every frame is meticulously crafted to build suspense, heighten tension, and ultimately unleash terror. Character design is crucial in setting the stage for horror. Grotesque figures with exaggerated features are staples of the genre, their very appearance designed to elicit fear and disgust. But it's not just about creating monsters. Even seemingly innocuous characters can be twisted into something sinister with the right artistic touch. The environment plays an equally important role in building a chilling atmosphere. Gothic castles, desolate landscapes, and shadowy forests become breeding grounds for terror. Every detail, from the flickering candlelight to the rustling leaves, contributes to a sense of unease that permeates the story. Animation allows creators to distort reality, bending and twisting the familiar into the horrific. It's this ability to play with our perceptions that makes animated horror so effective. Coraline, the stop-motion masterpiece by Henry Selick, stands as a chilling testament to the power of animated horror. This visually stunning film plunges us into a world where the mundane transforms into the monstrous right before our very eyes. Coraline's other mother, with her button eyes and unsettlingly long fingers, embodies the uncanny valley effect, where something appears almost human but with subtle, disturbing differences. This dissonance between the familiar and the strange taps into our deepest fears, creating a sense of unease that lingers long after the credits roll. Beyond the character design, Coraline masterfully utilizes stop-motion animation to enhance its horror. The jerky, slightly unnatural movements of the characters add a layer of unsettling realism to the otherwise fantastical world. It's a constant reminder that we are not in safe territory, that something sinister lurks beneath the surface. Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas demonstrates the versatility of animated horror, seamlessly blending elements of fantasy, musical, and horror to create a truly unique experience. Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town, is both endearing and unsettling, his skeletal frame a constant reminder of mortality. The film's stop-motion animation perfectly captures Burton's signature Gothic aesthetic. The characters are exaggerated and expressive, their movements fluid and captivating. The world of Halloween Town is a visual feast of dark delights filled with creepy crawlies, mischievous spirits, and macabre wonders. The Nightmare Before Christmas proves that horror doesn't always have to be about jump scares and gore. Sometimes the most effective scares are those that linger in the back of our minds. A subtle blend of the whimsical and the macabre. Section 5, Beyond Reality's Grasp. The Uncanny Valley of Fear. One of the most unsettling aspects of animated horror is its ability to tap into the uncanny valley. This psychological phenomenon occurs when we encounter something that looks almost human, but with subtle imperfections that trigger a sense of unease and even fear. Think of the vacant stares of porcelain dolls, their painted smiles failing to mask a lurking emptiness, or the jerky, unnatural movements of animatronics, their attempts to mimic human behavior falling short of the mark. These subtle imperfections create a dissonance in our brains, a sense that something is not quite right. Animated horror often exploits this phenomenon, presenting us with characters that blur the line between the living and the artificial. Their movements might be slightly too fluid, their expressions a touch too exaggerated. This subtle break from reality creates a sense of unease that can be far more effective than any grotesque monster. Section 6. The power of suggestion, unleashing terror in the abstract. While graphic violence has its place in horror, some of the most effective scares are those that leave more to the imagination. Animated horror excels in this area, using suggestion and implication to create truly unsettling moments. A shadow stretching across a wall, a whispered voice in the darkness, the fleeting glimpse of something moving just outside our field of vision. These are the tools of the trade for animated horror creators. By leaving the true nature of the threat ambiguous, they force us to confront our own fears and anxieties. Our minds are wired to fill in the blanks, to create narratives from incomplete information. In the hands of a skilled storyteller, this natural tendency becomes a weapon, turning the mundane into the terrifying. Section 7. When Shadows Dance. The ballet of animation and sound. Sound design is arguably the most critical element in horror, and animated horror is no exception. The creaking of floorboards, the howling wind, the blood-curdling scream, these auditory cues send shivers down our spines and amplify the terror unfolding on screen. Animation allows for a heightened sense of sound design. Every footstep, every rustle of clothing, every creak of a door can be meticulously crafted to create a specific mood or atmosphere. The soundtrack becomes another character in the story, weaving its way through the visuals to build suspense and ratchet up the tension. The marriage of animation and sound is a delicate dance, one that requires a keen understanding of how these elements work together to elicit emotional responses. When done well, it can create a truly immersive and terrifying experience. Section 8. A legacy of screams, the enduring impact of animated horror. Animated horror has left an undeniable mark on the genre, influencing countless filmmakers and storytellers. From the early works of Walt Disney to the modern masterpieces of Laika Studios, animated horror continues to push boundaries and explore the dark side of the human psyche. These films and shows are not just entertainment, they are reflections of our deepest fears and anxieties. They force us to confront the unknown, to grapple with the darkness that lurks within us all. And in doing so, they offer a cathartic release, a way to confront our fears in a safe and controlled environment. The legacy of animated horror is one of innovation, creativity, and a willingness to explore the darkest corners of the human experience. Section 9. A haunting renaissance. We find ourselves in the midst of a haunting renaissance in animated horror. Streaming services embrace the genre, providing platforms for creators to unleash their darkest visions. This new wave of storytelling pushes boundaries, delving into mature themes and exploring complex psychological horrors. The future of animated horror is bright, filled with terrifying possibilities. As technology advances and animation techniques evolve, we can expect even more immersive and unsettling experiences. The genre will continue to evolve, finding new and inventive ways to tap into our deepest fears and keep us up at night. So the next time you dim the lights and settle in for a scary movie, remember the power of animated horror. Remember the chilling tales that have sent shivers down your spine and left you questioning the darkness lurking just beyond your vision. For in the world of animation, fear knows no bounds.